So good morning, everybody. This is Shelby Miller, and I'm with Trisha Lutteroty, although it says she's Shelby today. Just ignore that. That's Trisha Lutteroty. Today we have Joanne Bryson with CPA Help Now that has come on board to help us answer any of the tax questions that you might have. And thanks, Michael, for showing up and coming and listen to hear for your clients as well. So Joanne, I want to jump right into everything and ask you, because I'm sure you're getting asked all the time about unemployment. Unemployment for those that are currently employed by someone else, but also for self-employed people like Trisha and myself. What is going on just in general with that? Can you touch on it for us a little bit?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, the systems were set up so that they were really just for people who are employed by somebody else. That's the traditional model for unemployment. You lose your job, you get to go on unemployment. But with this current situation, it's been expanded to people who are self-employed who are not really able to work. And I really think that real estate agents are a perfect, prime example of that, because you can't really be selling houses when you can't really go out.
We're trying virtually though, let's be clear.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I was excited last week when you said that you actually had a brand new listing. So I thought that was exciting. And you can also do virtual house tours, which is technology is great. But they've really been struggling to get the systems in place in order to handle the self-employed. So just keep trying. I know Pennsylvania has finally gotten their system updated so that the self-employed can apply, but you definitely will find some congestion on the website. So just make sure that you're going into the website to, just keep trying. You might need to actually reboot your computer. You might need to try a different browser, because there really is a lot of congestion. And because of that, I would say try an off the wall time. So if you're not having any luck going on around noon, set your alarm for 5 o'clock in the morning and try at a time when everybody else is, still bleary-eyed, and you might be doing it bleary-eyed, but just, keep plodding through, because it really can make a difference and help you get over this very, very challenging hump right now.
So Joanne, in regards to, I'm hearing about this extra $600 that is available. Is that for everyone that's on unemployment? Is it only for high earners that it's helping compensate? So how is the unemployment factor coming in? How do you determine how much you're going to get?
The actual determination is traditionally just a percentage of what you earned as an employee. But what they're doing now, and I honestly don't know what the exact amount is, and each state has slightly different rules on that, but on top of what you would have normally earned, they're putting another $600.
A week?
What was that, Shelby?
Is that every week, or does unemployment get paid weekly? Does it get paid bi-weekly?
It gets paid on a weekly basis, and I think that they still do have a waiting period on unemployment. So you want to apply sooner rather than later. Period. You don't want to wait on it. So even if you know that your employment is coming to an end, apply. Start that application process. But that $600 is $600 a week, and it's really designed to help keep people afloat, because all of a sudden your income's gone without any warning. A lot of people completely lost their income, and it's not like they can go out looking for another job. So one of the other things that is different is that they are not requiring that you apply for jobs each week, which is one of the normal requirements to maintain unemployment, because they don't want people, going knocking on doors saying, "Are you hiring?" We're all supposed to be sitting at home.
Okay, next question in regards to the unemployment. Do they hold the taxes for you, or can you get the whole sum and then you have to save the taxes, your tax money, because you have to pay taxes on the unemployment,
Absolutely.
correct?
It's taxable for federal purposes. It is not taxable for Pennsylvania state purposes, nor is it taxable for the local earned income tax. So it's
Okay.
just on, just federal, taxable federally. And they will withhold, I believe it's at 10% if you request it. That's a big if you request it. So you want to make sure that if you're not accustomed to doing estimated tax payments, that, or if you're not really disciplined with putting money aside for things like taxes, that you have them withhold that 10% in federal tax.
Trisha, I know that you had some questions you want to throw at Joanne?
Yeah, so one of my main one is about the PPP, the Payroll Protection Plan.
Yep.
How is that working, and how is it different from unemployment? And
Absolutely.
what is payroll? What qualifies as payroll?
Okay, so the Payroll Protection it's actually Paycheck Protection Program loan actually goes through a bank, not through unemployment. And it's designed to help businesses keep their employees connected with the company and earning a paycheck even during the shutdown.
Okay.
Or businesses that might be, they're still operating but with reduced revenue, to still keep their employees employed.
Mm-hmm.
The way that it works is you apply through your bank, and what counts towards payroll is not just your W-2 wages that you've paid to traditional employees, but also what you have paid to contractors. They are going to ask for copies of your W-2s and your 1099s.
Okay.
So if you haven't been filing your 1099s, this is a good time to just rejigger that, because those good tax practices always make sense. And in addition, you're guaranteed, if you're a partner, you're not just you're guaranteed, your net earnings from self-employment, which comes on your K-1, also counts towards wages. So that's really important. If you are in a partnership with someone else and you're making combined $75,000 a year, that counts as wages. The challenging part of the Paycheck Protection Program is that 75% of what you spend has to be spent on payroll. They are looking to change that so that companies will have a bit more to pay things like rent and light, and try to keep the doors open,
Okay.
not just keep people employed. But that does go through your bank.
Okay. Is there that's non-interest, or how's that
1%
work?
interest.
1%?
1% interest, and they will forgive up to 75% if you're spending it on payroll.
Okay.
So that's a real benefit to it. It's you might not have to pay it back, so that if you if you're spending it on payroll over, I believe it's an 8-week period, 2-month period. The it's a challenge for businesses right now. A lot of businesses will survive and a lot of businesses won't survive. And this is really trying to enable businesses to have a better chance of surviving. One of the difficulties is that businesses don't want to have to retrain a whole new group of employees
Right.
when the economy reopens. So the Paycheck Protection Program is going to help keep employees and employers engaged with each other so that our economy can reopen more quickly.
Now, is that taxable then? Like, do you need?
No, it is not. That's a really good question. It's a loan. And it is, so no, it is not taxable. So it really is a very solid benefit for small businesses. It's only available to businesses under 500 employees.
Okay. Okay.
So Joanne, another question that I have is they're saying that the first round of stimulus checks are supposed to be going out this week. Is that going to be taxable?
No. No,
Okay.
the way that's going to work is it's going to count as a tax credit, and they will actually do a reconciliation between what you received and what you should have received. So let's say back in 2018 and 2019 or 2018 that you had huge income, that you had $400,000 of income, you had a blowout year, and you hadn't yet filed your 2019. They're going to base that payment to you on 2018's, in which case you're not going to receive a payment. But let's say your 2019 was, you're a single person, your income is $60,000, you should have received the payment. When you file your, I believe it's the 2020 tax return, they'll do a reconciliation. So they'll look to see how much you should have received in a payment. And if you didn't receive any payment, then you're going to receive your $1,500 that you should have received. But let's say it's the reverse. Let's say that you received a check and you really should not have, they're not going to take it back.
Okay.
So if they overpaid on the stimulus payment, they're not going to ding you when you reconcile your taxes. You're not going to have to pay that credit back. But if you did not get as much as you should have when you file your 2020 tax return in 2021, then you'll get the difference. So if somebody had a new baby in 2019 and they should have had an additional $500, and they had not yet filed their taxes, and they just received the stimulus payment for themselves and their spouse, then when they file their 2020 tax returns, they'll receive that extra $500.
So is it an automatic $1,200 and $500 per child, or could it be up to $1,200?
No,
And
it's as long as your income is under the thresholds, it will be $1,200. If your
Okay.
income is over certain limits, so that's $75,000 for a single person, $150,000 for a married couple, you'll receive the $1,200 per person. There's an additional amount available for every dependent. So if you file head of household and you have dependents, then there's an additional amount. I think it's $15,000 per dependent. So if you have, if you're single and you have one child, your that threshold is $90,000, and then it begins to phase out. I believe that it is a 5% reduction for, so basically $5 for every $100 over the limit.
Okay.
And then one other thing before we wrap up is you had mentioned before we got on the call about a EIDL. You want to tell us what that is and
Yes.
what's going on with that?
Absolutely. So it's the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, and it's abbreviated the EIDL. It is a loan program that is has always been available with the Small Business Administration, but it's been tweaked a bit for the COVID-19 emergency. And it is designed to help businesses who have suffered economically because of a disaster. During the the coronavirus emergency, there is an advance of up to $10,000 on the EIDL program, and it's based on the number of employees that advance. So originally they weren't really talking about that being a criteria with it, but it would be $1,000 per employee, which can include contractors, up to $10,000. So for a small business that has 6 employees, they can get an advance of $6,000. In addition to that, though, there is additional money that is available under the EIDL loan program. But I believe you're actually going to have to show that you have suffered some economic injury related to this disaster. I think that most small businesses can show that they have suffered some economic injury related to the disaster. So people who are self-employed can apply for unemployment, but they can also apply for an EIDL loan. They might, if you're a solopreneur, you might only get $1,000 for the, just being yourself for the advance, but you may very well be able to get additional money. The advance comes directly from the SBA, but I believe that they will connect you with a bank for additional loan money related to the EIDL program. And you might need to have your tax returns for the past 3 years. That's my understanding from clients that have been coming back saying, I can't find my 2017 tax returns. Can you send me another copy? So, because that's what they're getting asked. That's the program that they've applied for, and they're getting asked for 3 years of tax returns.
Okay. So, is there any other questions that we should be asking you that we haven't asked that you're getting calls from clients now, or did we kind of touch on the basics of what's happening right now?
I think that we have touched on the basics. One of the questions that comes up a lot is, when will I get my money? And the rollout has been overwhelming. Like the response to the rollout has been really overwhelming. So I think that it's just going a bit more slowly. I know that unemployment is running like a week behind. People are going to get their money, but they might not get it as quickly as they would have. In some states, the number of applicants has increased by a factor of 40,000, not 40,000. Like they have, instead of 2,000 people applying in a a week, they're having, millions. I mean, just, it's overwhelming in some places. So the systems are bogged down. And the same goes with the SBA and the banks. Anyone who knows a banker knows that they're at their desk working 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, and they're working till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. So the lenders are overwhelmed and short-staffed, and the SBA is overwhelmed and short-staffed, and unemployment is overwhelmed and short-staffed. So that's the other big question, is when am I going to see my money? And it's going to be more slow coming in than what you would see in a period when it's not so crammed.
All right. So thank you, Joanne. I'd like to, because this is a Zoom call and I don't have like editing and being able to pop your name and phone number and everything, can you share your contact information for anyone if they have any questions and want to call?
Mm-hmm. Yep. My name is Joanne Bryson, and my number is 610-924-4520. And my email is joanne@cpahelpnow.com. And Joanne has an E on the end, Joanne.
Great. Thank you, Joanne. Michael, thank you so much for popping in and giving us some questions ahead of time for this call. And we really appreciate you, Joanne. And we'll talk to you again on Thursday. If anyone missed this call and they want to hop on and ask you questions, Thursday at 1 o'clock.
Have a great day, Shelby.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.